Hello and welcome to the History Help channel. Today we will be looking into the history of Mysore kingdom. And we are beginning with the Wodeyar dynasties. So even before Wodeyar dynasty, what was there? Let us take a brief look. So a little bit about Mysore. Mysore is a part of South India. The state of Karnataka was earlier known as the Mysore state. Even before Mysore, the name Mahishamandala was prominent. So the Mysore's earlier name was Mahishamandala. How do we know this? We know it through the inscriptions of Ashoka. It is said that Ashoka, sometime after the Kalinga War, when he started writing edicts and spreading Buddhism, he also sent missionaries to Mysore or Mahishamandala, and that's why even Ashokan inscriptions talk about missionaries being sent to Mahishamandala to spread the religion of Buddha. Even Sri Lankan chronicles, Divavamsha and Mahavamsha, talk about a place called Mahishamandala. So Mahishamandala is actually Mysore. So why did the name Mahisha come to Mysore? So there is a story of Chamundi and Mahishasura. Chamundi is actually the goddess of Parvati or Shakti, and Chamundi, it is said that eons ago, when Mahishasura was a demon, she killed Mahishasura and protected the city of Mysore. So um, Chamundi is also known as Mahishasura Mardini. Mardini is killing. So Chamundi is also known as Mahishasura Mardini. So even today, Mysore has the hill which has the temple of Chamundi. So the hill itself is known as Chamundi Hill. So Mysore was also part of various dynasties like Pallavas, Gangas, Hoysalas, and Vijayanagara. These were all South Indian dynasties. So while North India had a different set of kings, be it Harshavardhana of Taneshwar, then Kushans and all that, South India had a different set of regional kingdoms like Pallavas or Gangas or Hoysalas or Vijayanagara. So, if Gangas were in the 8th century, Hoysalas were in the 12th century, Vijayanagara was actually 14th century. During all these dynasties, Mysore was a part of their kingdom. So, when Vijayanagara was actually set up in 1336, and it was founded by two brothers, Harihara and Bukka. When Vijayanagara kingdom was ruling South India, what had happened was it allowed regional kingdoms like Bangalore and Mysore to be governed by local chieftains. These local chieftains were also known as Palegars. So Mysore was also ruled by somebody named Chamraja. So Hadinadu, inscriptions say that Chamraja was the chieftain ruling Hadinadu, which is quite near Mysore. So Vijayanagara was the capital of Vijayanagara was in Hampi. So chieftains like Chamraja and other chieftains of Bangalore and other areas would rule their regions, and they would pay a tribute to Vijayanagara kings. That is how their relationship was. Vijayanagara was supreme while local chieftains were ruling the different places. So Mysore was then ruled by Chamraja. So this is a little bit of background before the starting of the Wodeyar dynasty. So what we have talked about is until the 14th century. So the Wodeyar dynasty actually started quite uh, later from 13 13 not 13 this 13 14th century. So until then, what had taken place was this. So now let us take a look into the origin of Wadiyars. Who are the Wadiyars? So there are many theories for this. So let us take a look into one or two theories. The first theory says that somebody named Yaduraya came from Dwaraka, and he came to worship the goddess Chamundeshwari in Mysore. Who was Yaduraya? He was the son of Raja Deva of Dwaraka. So he comes to this place, Mysore. Chamraja, who was ruling Mysore at that time, or who was the chieftain of that place, had died, and only his wife and daughter were surviving. So, realizing this, Chamraja's commander Maranayaka wanted to marry the daughter and basically take over the kingdom. So when all this was happening, people were very upset. So who had come to Mysore around that time, he was actually asked to do something for the kingdom. So he was asked to do something by a family royal priest, or whom we call as Jangama in local language. He was a mendicant. Accompanied by the Jangama, Yaduraya went ahead, killed Paranayaka, killed the commander, and then he married the daughter. And in 1339, he founded the Wodeyar dynasty. So, this is one of the first theories, how Yaduraya from Dwaraka came here to this place and he set up a dynasty by marrying the chieftain's daughter. Okay, so but in this first theory itself, there are many variations. So each group or each community in Mysore would try to put its own theory. So people, if you see Mysore, there are a large number of people who worship Vishnu. So the Vishnu followers or Vaishnavites would put up their own theory. So so let's see what were their variations. So if you happen to visit Mysore, there is a place called Melkote. Melkote is worship has a very famous temple of Vishnu or Narayana. So one of the Vishnu theory says that Yaduraya from Dwaraka had come to worship Narayana in Melkote, and then he came to Mysore, heard about the story, and killed Maranayaka. So basically, they wanted to put more emphasis on Vishnu, on worship of Vishnu, and how Vishnu followers mm, were actually the people who founded the Wodeyar dynasty. So this theory is supported by the Mysore court poets like Govindraya and Tirumalaraya of the Mysore court. So they are also Vaishnavites or Vishnu followers, and they supported the theory that Yaduraya came from Dwaraka to basically worship not Chamundeshwari but to worship the Vishnu in Melkote or Narayana of Melkote. Some other variations, the books like Mysore Nagarada Purvottara says that Vijaya and Krishna, two brothers, had come from Dwaraka, and they had come not to worship anybody, but they had come because the Vijayanagara king had called them, and he had told them that he would give a land near the river Kaveri. So they came, and by then the Shanta Wadeyar, not Chamraja, but somebody named Shanta Wadeyar was ruling Mysore, and he had left his wife and daughter, and he had gone away. So Vijaya killed the commander over there, and he also married the daughter. So these are certain variations of the same story. Some saying it was in a different name, some saying the ruler's name is different, some saying he came to worship Narayana, and some saying that the Vijayanagara king had called them. So these are different authors writing different variations. Now, there is a second theory, which is a slightly different theory, which was advocated by the Jains. Jains are also, like the Vishnu followers, there are also people following Jainism. So, Jains also put up their own theory. So, let us see what is their theory. So, they say long ago, somebody from the Yadava descent came from Vijayanagara, and he settled in Mysore today somewhere in place called Potter's Colony. And he died, and he left behind his wife and daughter. Again, daughter was trying to be forcibly married, uh, and so three brothers came from the Hoysala king. So here, the thing to note is the Hoysala king Vishnuvardhan. He was a Jain, so the descendants of the Hoysala king would basically be somebody supporting Jainism, right? So these three brothers came to the Mysore and rescued the daughter. So in this case, the names of the brothers were Devaraja, Timmaraja, and Shantaraja. So Devaraja and these three brothers set up the Wodeyar dynasty. After Devaraja's death, his son was Raja Wodeyar, who continued the lineage of Wodeyars. So this is a story which is told by Devachandra in one of his books, Rajavalli Katha. So as you can see, they have tried to give a lineage of Jainism. So you must excuse me for the spelling. So Hoysala kings, the connection with Hoysala king Vishnuvardhan gives them a Jain link. And Devachandra himself was a Jain scholar of the 19th century. What is the third theory? The third theory says that it tries to give a different origins. Some say instead of Dwaraka, they say Yadavas of Devagiri were actually the descendants of Yadavas of Devagiri started the Wodeyar dynasty. Some say Kakatiyas of Warangal. Warangal happens to be in Andhra Pradesh border region. So Kakatiyas of Warangal were the ones descendants who started the Wadiyars. And some say it is the Hoysala family descendants who started the Wodeyar dynasty. As many theories float around who started the Wodeyar dynasty. So the traditional, let's now you have looked into the Vaishnav theory, you have heard about Jain theory. Well, you've also heard about a foreign theory saying that Kakatiyas or Yadavas came. So the traditional theory or the locals, what they say is somebody named Chamraja was ruling and Maranayaka was his commander, and that much is true. That is what the local theory says. But there is also one more theory which says that the Hoysala family, which is quite possible because Hoysala, the dynasty is quite near Belur and Halebeedu, which is near to Mysore. Hoysala family, by then, when Muhammad bin Tughlaq came and ransacked the city in 1327, he destroyed Belur and Halebeedu. So, and Hoysala ruler at that time was Ballala. So, because Ballala was the Hoysala ruler, he came and settled down near Melkote. That is the place where Vishnu was worshipped. So, maybe Ballala lived there for 50 years and he had made it made near Melukote, he had made it as a capital. Probably after him, Ballala's descendants started the Mysore family. So this may be possible because Hoysala dynasty was a powerful dynasty quite near Mysore, and because of the devastation of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, it is quite possible that the rulers left that place, came near Melkote, and their descendants finally started off this warrior dynasty. So why is there a stress on this warrior dynasty? Because from 1339 to around 1947, there were 25 warrior kings who ruled Mysore. So who started it? Nobody knows, but there are many theories. Though we know who is the founder of warrior dynasty, it is Yaduraya. We do not know who he was or from where he came, and whether he was really a descendant of Hoysala or whether he was a descendant of Dwaraka. So there is a lot of books for references. You can also refer this. So in our next slide, we will be talking about after Yaduraya, who were the other kings. So from 1399, sorry, if I have I think I mentioned 1339. I'm very sorry about that. 1399 was the time when Yaduraya founded the warrior dynasty. So from 1399 to basically 1578, who were the early warriors who ruled Mysore? We will look into it in the next slide. And before Wodaya means in Kannada, in the local language, Wodaya means owner or ruler or chieftain. So basically, it might be the local the name Wodeyar would have been probably affixed to all these early rulers, making it the Wodeyar dynasty. Thank you.